fans were very much excited about seeing this fight go down. Are you hoping that, because this fight has been talked about, you guys can kind of just get right to it?
Not too many world champions can be in a huge event of that magnitude, and I always wanted to be part of something special, especially with my career, especially with how far I came. I'm just grateful that the people in the States, Northern Ireland and in the UK, they're all, they all been, asking for this fight. And, at the end of the day, I just like to entertain people.
I'm just glad that Jamel's on the same page as me here. He wants to fight, and I still want to fight.
So even if they're behind, sitting down on their couch in the living room, if they get to tune in and see a great fight, I'm happy with that.
I think it's a fight that could generate a very good atmosphere, so it would be a shame to have it without an atmosphere. He's a big guy, and I know that, and everybody else knows that. That's one of the interesting things about this fight. Such a big, tall, rangy guy against a shorter, stockier guy. It has ingredients for a very good fight, I think.
You said that you believe that he can be outboxed and that his feet are slow and that sometimes he gets a little bit lazy in the middle rounds. Jamel, how would you like to kind of respond to that?
I kind of agree with the middle rounds because Bomac yells at me at times because sometimes, sometimes you get a little too lax at times, and I think that's my issue, and maybe I do kind of like cruise it, but that's one thing I love about my team. We all implement a game plan, and trust and believe, it's funny that when he brought that up, we already thought of those things. The fight with Roach, it was more of a cat and mouse kind of like because he was so defensive, so I had to, watch my output a bit because he was always trying to counter everything. But in the Ito fight, it was kind of more of a fast pace because he just kept coming. It's still all the ingredients for a good fight, and I look forward to it.
Maybe I've said too much then. I should keep my mouth shut.
If you could each describe each other as a boxer and what would it take to win, I think that's something that the fans would be interested in hearing you do.
He's got so many good attributes, but I think his main one is probably his mental strength. And I know, and I've read a little bit about his life and what's happened. He's had some tragedy in his life as well. To become a world champion, mentally, he's got to be very, very strong. This guy's, mentally, he's got to be the strongest guy that I've ever faced. So that brings its own problems. Plus, he's a giant for a super featherweight, and he makes the weight easier than I thought he did. And he's a southpaw, and he's a clever all-round fighter. So I wouldn't want to fight for a world title to be easy. Jamel's got plenty about him. And that's why it's going to be a tough fight.
I actually always been a fan of Carl's. The man was the fight of the year at one point. You know what I mean? He's had great fights. He knows what it takes to win those title fights. The man wants to make history. If that doesn't get you up in the morning, to motivate you and build you and to get you in that gym and to probably fight the best fight that you possibly can fight. At the end of the day, when the fight was talked about, Carl was actually the only one. We know this. He was the only one that basically stepped to the table and was like, why not? Like Carl, I look at it like this. Carl, to me, his legacy is already cemented. He didn't need this fight. He could have won, and he could have went another route. But at the end of the day, I believe, like I said, I have to be ready because Carl can do a little bit of everything.
Jimmy McLarnin is known by many as the greatest fighter from Ireland. If you were to capture this third world title, where do you kind of think that puts you and Jimmy in the discussion?
Well, I think in my opinion, Jimmy McLarnin is the number one Irish fighter. He fought so many great champions. He beat so many great champions as well. I think if I win a world title in a third division, I would slide right in behind Jimmy McLarnin, but I would be, some people may say number one, but I'd be happy to say number two to Jimmy.
And Jamel, for you to have a name on your resume, what does that do for you?
I think that really solidifies me as a legit super featherweight champion. For me, I still have a lot more to prove. Like I said, Carl, whether win, lose, or draw with Carl, I feel like his legacy is definitely cemented. He will go down as one of the best fighters to lace a pair of gloves, in my opinion. A win here would definitely open up more doors for bigger fights. And I can, like me being a Marine, that's my main thing. I just want to be known as one of the best Marines to represent in the sport of boxing, and just to continue carrying on that tradition.